Evening, everybody. How are we all doing? Back at you again at 9 p.m. at night. So yeah, I've been roped into this by Ricky, but hopefully we get the main man on tonight. It is approximate. I think it's just turned 5 a.m. in Japan, so no doubt I'll be rushing to get a coffee or something, and then he'll be on with us. So yeah, how are you guys all doing? Yeah, kind of a strange part of the season now, isn't it? Where, we've got weather been really good recently, and then it's quieted down a little bit with temperatures and stuff like that over the last couple of days, but relatively still warm for people out there that are unheated. It's been a crazy time at the minute at Koi Wholesale. We are, constantly looking at trying to photograph and video fish. So this week I've been at the farm all week doing photographs. I think I must have done 200, 250 fish this week. So I am coyed out if there was ever. I don't think I would have said that before, but I think I've seen enough koi this week to last me a lifetime, including some of the Black Zeus pieces that Ricky's had. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of you out there that have followed Ricky's Black Zeus project. One of them is absolutely wild. I might see if I can upload some pictures of that in the background to show you guys, because it's yeah, certainly something that. But yeah, I just want to see how you guys are all doing, and by all means, put your questions in to me, so I've got something to ramble on about whilst we wait for Ricky. We did speak to him about 4 hours ago before he went to bed. So we'll be expecting Ricky on in shortly, I think. But anyone who has been to Japan will know that Wi-Fi is not the easiest to come by, and the SIM cards you get out there are not necessarily too reliable. So we'll see how he gets on. But yeah, crazy time of the year. Let me see if I can put these pictures up on these Black Zeuses to keep us going, because they certainly are Marmite, these Black Zeus. Don't know what you guys have thought of them. See where I put them now. But yeah, it has been a crazy week. And yeah, we've had a comment here about the Kent Koi Show. There's only 2 more Koi shows left of the season. I think there's one down in the Midlands at Hollybush Garden Centre and Nurseries, and then there's the All England Koi Show that's referenced here. And I know there is roadworks around the venue, so good comment there from Gary. If anyone is planning on visiting, make a note of that. Let's see. Trying to find these fish in the background. Here we go. Let's see. Bear with me 2 seconds, guys. Where did I put them now? It's always harder finding these in second time round. But yeah, anyone who's just tuning in, we're just waiting on Ricky to tune in from Japan. Yeah, any questions for him, feel free to keep them coming in the comment. Got a comment there from Lee. I'll answer that one at the minute. So we got, hi Joe, I'm running an easy pod off my bottom drain and going to a below water return at 5,000 litres and a moving bed off a skimmer and a mid-water feed going over the shower. My question is, am I pumping enough water to have a benefit from the shower? I think even with a ceramic media in there, there is at 10,000 litres, it is probably more of a trickle tower, but 60 centimetres or 600 mil, 10,000 litres probably enough to maybe call it like a shower filter rather than a trickle tower. I'd say that is probably enough flow to be getting a gassing off effect over 6, because essentially it all depends on the rate of how it's blasting out of the holes, in the spray bar on your shower. So I'd probably say that is enough, and no matter the flow rate, there will be some benefit, because essentially you're getting water contact on a media, and you'll be getting healthy bacteria growth in there. So absolutely, yeah. I can't see any reason to say that you wouldn't be getting anything from it. So, yeah, no problems there from my perspective. Got a comment earlier on from Rory. Any mango karashigoi kicking around the farm? Yeah, I mean, yeah, not sure what your guys' opinion is on mango karashigoi. There's quite a few different styles out there, or breeders that are doing them nowadays as well. Obviously, we've got Sakai just do the standard kind of mango karashigoi. Then you've got Okawa that are doing it as well, and then you've got the yellow monkeys from Dainichi. I think we've got everything on the farm besides the Sakai stuff. I think we've got there's one at the farm that Ricky's got in his kind of main Sansai Yonsai pond with his big Kindai NND shower. That he's got one that he's grown on from Tosai Danichi Yellow Monkey, and it's going like a really bronzy colour. It almost looks like a Chagoi. I want to ask him about it and what he thinks of it, because it's a completely different colour to anything that I've seen from the Dainichi Yellow Monkeys. So yeah, I mean, there's all sorts on the farming in terms of Karashigoi. So definitely if you're wanting one, get in contact with a Koi Wholesale dealer, and they'll be sure to point you in the right direction. One of the approved dealer lists. We've definitely got enough of them kicking around. Evening, everybody. Again, keep firing in your questions whilst we're waiting for Rick to tune in. Question there from Rob. What's the best food for improving my dorsals fins? Yeah, can't give you any on that, mate. I don't think there's such thing as Koi Viagra, is there, for dorsal fins? But no, that yeah, fun times. I think we've this has become quite a thing, this whole dorsal fin chat, hasn't it? So who knows? To me, it's one of them things I just can't look past. Is a good dorsal, and on a kahaku is having red in the dorsal is something I'm certainly not for. But there's certain fish that I would have it in, like asagis. I think I've said that before. But here we go. I've got these pictures now. I think these are going to probably be like Marmite for people, but I just thought it was absolutely wild, and just to take it for what it is and some of the qualities of it, crazy, just crazy patterns. And to some people, they'll be like, "What on earth is that?" But I don't know. There's just something a bit crazy about the different. I don't know, like that pattern itself, how the sumi is coming up in different regions. I kind of just really like that. Totally wild. And this one's more of a outside view. And when you're going through batches of koi and you're just photographing loads of different, standard koi, Sankey, Kahaku, stuff like that. With this, it just kind of stood out, and I don't know. I can appreciate the qualities of it. I don't know what you guys will think of it, but it probably is one of a kind, and you can probably see quite a few different varieties that they've used to breed it, kind of underlying in the background. You've probably got quite a lot of Benny Kamonru in there. You've probably got, I guess, a bit of Matsukawa Baki maybe as well. There's probably a bit of everything going on in there, and obviously there's a Ginrin element on some of them as well. And I did take some pictures of some of the other kind of standard Black Zeus, but this one just really kind of caught my attention. But yeah, it's always going to be a bit of Marmite, that one, isn't it? And you never know what's going to happen with them as well. It's it's not like we can all sit here and say they're going to all turn picture perfect black, and it's a bit of an unknown quantity at the minute, so it's interesting to watch them develop on the farm. And if the black does solidify in where it is on the face, could be quite a stunning little fish, that, and across the body. But yeah, again, it's just got that Dainichi wow factor about it, even though it's not a showfish whatsoever. Yeah, bit of Marmite for you tonight. Question there from Rory. Gonna heat this winter with an air source. What's a good temperature going into autumn for the last bit of growth, and then a stable temp for the coldest part that won't break the bank? Um, I don't think you're really going to achieve much growth, in my experience, in terms of being able to get the food in as you'd be, ideally looking for anywhere under 18 degrees. I think 18 degrees for me is kind of a stable temperature that's not going to break the bank, but it also enables you to be putting in a decent amount of food at the same time and to be keeping your filter bacteria still quite active as well. In terms of the coldest part, that the coldest temperature you'd go to that wouldn't break the bank, less about growth at that time, obviously. So if you're just looking to maintain your koi, I mean, I'm looking this year at potentially maybe going down to as far as maybe 8 degrees, but I think it's about monitoring and seeing if the fish are laid on the bottom. And I don't like the idea of fish being laid on the bottom throughout winter. And I've never gone that low. I originally went 15 degrees, then I went 12 last year. And I thought 12 was a really good temperature to keep them active. But I'm just thinking maybe of going even further, maybe starting at 10 and seeing how they react. And if I'm not putting food in at that stage, maybe even going down as far as 8. Um, but yeah, I don't. Everyone has a different winter regime, so it'd be interesting to see your guys' thoughts on it. Comment there from Marek: expensive barbecue fish. The Dan H's is it is Marmite. There's quite a few people saying it's not for them, but yeah, something a little bit different. Comment there from Dale. What do you think to Sakai's regime of feeding 5 times a week and giving his fish 2 days off? Haven't heard too many people trying this, and fluctuating his temps. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I was speaking with the author who did the insect meal article with us, and I can announce he's coming back for another article. I know people were really excited about the David Poole article. So we're really happy to say we got him back again to do another article on pigmentation. And I was speaking with him about this regime, and from a science perspective, what does it essentially? Fish are digesting food in a different way to the way any humans are, or what we perceive them. A lot of people perceive fish to be digesting food. Um, the essentially giving a steady stream of food, all the time, means that there's always food kind of passing through the fish, and that's why they feed them in intervals. But I do think at some point there is like a fat reserve that's built up in the fish, and giving them a break off of the food. So really hammering them and allowing them to build up that fat reserve, but then giving them 2 days off, where most likely when they're 2 days off, they'll be scavenging more, maybe eating algae more, doing other things around the pond, exercising themselves and burning off that excess fat and um, excess body that's not been the energy that they've got, that they've harnessed from the food, that they're using it by swimming instead of just storing it. And I think there's some science to that, and I think it's another reason why I think giving your fish a winter once a year is so pivotal for them to get rid of that excess energy that they're storing, the excess fat. Because although sake hikari obviously is a well balanced food, if you feed your fish constantly throughout the year, 24/7, 365 days a year, they'll most likely need a break at some point, just to almost take stock of what they've got and to burn off that fat and that excess energy that they've had. Because even at Sakai standards, they're getting the fish out, weighing them, and then putting them back in the pond, feeding them a lot, and weighing them again to see how much they're actually, the food retention percentages of what they're feeding to what weight they're actually putting on. So I think there's something to be said about it. Obviously, because they're using it. I mean, I've got much less credibility in the bank than Sakai, but if they're doing it, it's most likely for a very good reason. So Whether or not it's something you can do in the UK, I don't know. I think it's more about maybe making sure you're getting a good winter because they're pushing their fish further than what you will ever be doing in a UK pond. Um, and potentially at Koi Wholesale, it's something that maybe could be done because of Ricky having a keen eye on feeding and reaching the very limits of what a fish can take in terms of how much food can go in. But yeah, there's something to be said for it, obviously, but you know, what actioning it is a different thing. But yeah, keep firing your questions in, guys, and we'll. I think we're due Ricky over the next few minutes, so hold your horses and obviously get your questions in for Ricky, so that when he comes, you'll be first on the list of questions to answer. But yeah, we are asking a lot of him. It's 5 o'clock in the morning over in Japan, so we will be waking him up and getting him out of bed for this. But I know you guys enjoyed this last time, asking the questions to Ricky whenever. Oh, there you go. He's
Alan,
How are you doing?
funny story. I must have mistaken my alarm for a phone call. having been woken up 3 times by my web developer last night at 1 o'clock, repeatedly calling.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. What's happened to your camera, Joe?
I don't know. Has it gone blurry?
So yeah, completely disorienting me. And I forgot also I needed to be up at 5 o'clock. So I think I went to bed at midnight, got woken up at 1:30 by web dev. So I think when this alarm went off, I thought it was that again, and I must have just whacked it. There we
Well,
go.
you've made it. That's the main thing.
There
How
we
was
go.
the flight and travel over there?
Flight was horrendous.
Yeah.
Do not enjoy that bit in the slightest,
No.
but it's a necessity, unfortunately. And yeah, the rest of it, mate, it's been buzzing ever since. Though can't lie.
So where
Spent
are you now?
in the hotel. So I've literally just rolled out of bed. So,
Right. I didn't know
but
if
yeah,
you were
yeah.
staying at NND or if you were staying in
Oh,
a
sorry.
hotel or
Yes,
whatever.
I'm in Nagoka at the
Yeah.
minute, which is yeah, the main city next to Nagoka, Ojia, where all the breeders are situated. And yeah, I spent the whole day at NND yesterday, actually just with Makoto, Marusho Koi Farm, the MD, up at his original fish house in not Mushigame, Yamogihira, place where I spent a lot of time. It was pretty phenomenal, really. We were just sat at the fish house waiting for. He had the two of the lads out harvesting Tosai Kohaku. So yeah, we just sat waiting for them coming back, and then as they got back, sorting through them, obviously selecting loads and loads of bowls set up. I don't know if anybody is following already, but I've got a Facebook page I set up, the Nishikigoi Journal, which is just literally for me documenting koi stuff that I'm doing. And yeah, so I put picture on there because we've got loads, so many different nets set up for various different things. Of course, the main thing, picking out the Tatigoi, very first chance. These are already at this point. This was the fifth selection of these
Wow.
fish. Four selection has been done in the mud pond already. This is the sort of like the first real one before they go to the concrete ponds. So yeah, got Tatigoi picked out. Then after that, you're sorting through. He's got 3 ponds, which are all just basically size graded for the different kind of general mixers he'll have on sale. So they all went in there. After that, a couple of fish he picked out that'll go to a smaller tank he's got for koi show fish. So yeah, it was nice. The fish were phenomenal. I've not really drummed on about it too much because the NND Kohaku was just one that crept up on me. I went for dinner with Fujo last night. I was talking about it. I said it's kind of bypassed me a little bit because pre-COVID, obviously we had this big 3-year block in between, but sort of pre-COVID, they weren't quite where they are now. Obviously, there's been these few years, then got back to Japan, and it's just like all of a sudden it's like shit. Where did these come from? You know, these absolute beastly examples that they've got swimming around. One of which has actually hit a meter now. One of
Wow.
the sort of original younger generation fish. And then yeah, I had a couple myself, which had done absolutely phenomenal, and bought one in autumn. So when I was at their event, the standout pull there was a vat of 3 year Kohaku that they got, just absolutely stunning. And one of them was just on another level, in my opinion. I kind of looked at it and instantly thought that has potential, in my thoughts, potential for possibly a grand champion contender at the Nagaoka Koi show.
Right.
So I bagged myself that one because it was just irresistible. What I've seen in them, I've had a few at the fish house back home as well, and I've just seen a Benny style that I've not seen in other Kohaku. So there's other similarities, but it's quite hard to explain. It's almost electric in colour. You've probably, I don't know if you've noticed it with the big one that's swimming around at the fish house, but you've got that intensity. It's not quite as strong as the likes of a Dainichi or Nogami Kohaku. Oh, it's my alarm again.
But
And
the big NND Sankeys though, are they similar to that because they've got like a specific Benny style?
no, not quite. Obviously, there's no relation, but the body. This is the other bit they've really excelled at. All I was seeing in these examples is this huge head and backbone, just phenomenal. And yeah, sort of been at it ever since, really. So it was nice seeing that in these fish yesterday. So they were only 4 months old, which was nice. So it's a really, really early stage, but you're just seeing them characteristics. Not the Benny so much because the Benny's just orange. So
Yeah.
at this point, they've had no colour food in the slightest, and it's mad. But yeah, the rest of it, you could just see those heads, backbones. Every fish we're looking at, when you see the side profile, it's like, wow, that's too consistent not to be a characteristic and a trait.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah,
really cool.
impressed by him, to the point where it ended up becoming a battle for a couple of fish because there was just two. I say two. While he was having a faff around, I went through the net of his stash and picked out 8 fish. And I've not finished it actually, but just for a giggle, I actually did a video saying, right, for a crack, I'm going to see if I can buy one of these because not normally happening. And yeah, sure enough, I got these 8. I says, "Are these for sale?" And he's just absolutely point blank, like, "No." So in the end, sort of narrowed it down, and yeah, gone. Gonna have one, and that kind of softened him up a little bit. So actually, in the end, yeah, got some progress.
Very good. So if you so in terms of how far you've explored, I know you're there for 10, what is it, 10 days?
Yeah.
Have you how hard is it for you to hold back in terms of obviously you've gone there with a certain amount of fish you want to buy on the trip. How hard have you got any farms that you need to see before you make your purchases? Have you seen out that you kind of got an eye on and then you're thinking, well, I'll go to this farm and see what they've got as well? What you got in
Yeah, I
mind
mean,
for the next few days?
to be honest, a couple of the big bits I had in mind. You have to be open minded. You never know what's coming. So after we'd finished all the Kohaku yesterday, after lunch they came back with a truck, and it was full of Beni Kikuguru, which just caught me off guard completely. So after we'd gone through them, they were nice. So ended up with a batch of them being bought for stock for coming back to UK. So that weren't anticipated, but had planned wanted NND Kohaku at a certain level, and yeah, NND Sankey because they've not had them for as a batch for a long time because it's too difficult. But right now is the chance before he starts, separating them to too many ponds and stuff like that. So fingers crossed. I think I'm getting there. When I asked him yesterday, I got the answer I expected. Just put his head in his hands and said, "Too difficult." We'll see. We'll see.
Very
And yeah,
good.
the rest just bit by bit working through it really.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I know you mentioned to me that you've a couple of breeders have kept in touch with what you're doing on these live platforms. Have you seen anything like that yet when you've been out there? Has anyone said Mr.
Well,
Koi
straight
Wholesale?
away, Fujo watches it constantly apparently because it's telling me I talk too fast. So yeah, no, that was weird. That was
Very
actually
cool.
in autumn when that first got me because I didn't realize. And Issa was another. Issa actually watches it. 'Cause he's head of the Nishikigoi Promotion Association over here,
Right.
and yeah, then just randomly I was at Marihide and he went, "Oh, YouTube channel," put his thumb up. Pretty cool.
Very cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
amazing.
it is good.
So I think we've got quite a few questions in from people. I know people want to ask you the questions, so
Yeah, I must
should
apologise. I didn't quite get any pictures and stuff over for Steve because I was hard at it yesterday. But like I say, if people nip over if you've not already the Nishikigoi Journal on Facebook. I'm literally just piling stuff onto there, so should be plenty to look at.
So we've got a question here. What's your favourite fish so far? I know you mentioned these NND Kohaku, but you got anything particularly since?
I've not seen much more to be honest.
No.
Yesterday was my first full day, so
Yeah. Fair
yeah.
enough.
And then I'm sure today I'm again back up in the mountains with Makoto. We've got Sankey coming back, which is going to drive me potty. But favourite fish would be these couple of kohaku. I narrowed it down to yesterday, but look out for the video to find out if I got them or not. To be fair, I'll be coming.
I know you said you originally said it was one. Now you're saying it's a couple. I'm I'm interested to see how many you actually got now.
But yeah, they're impressive fish, and the Kikakuru were superb.
The question here: are we going to be getting any more weird and wonderful at Koi Wholesale? You got your eye on any more Black Zeus's or anything like that?
Yeah, obviously, always looking. To be fair, now you've said it. If I could get, I don't know if he actually even really made them last year because I can't remember seeing many in the auctions. But if I could get them Black Zeus as a batch, I'd be all over it because the results of them so far have been incredible.
Yeah.
Again, I've posted recently the one I've raised since a Tosai from the auction, a really valuable one that I got, and my God, it's just
Yeah.
sort of like last year. It didn't look the best, but I knew, it's just that same thing. Just give it some time, and growing into Sandside this year, my God, is it starting to come into its own?
Yeah.
You just
That's
don't expect to see Deutz fish with these kind of bone structures and body lines. It's
no.
mental.
That thing is unreal. And if you can't allow yourself to be impressed by some of the qualities it's got in terms of ginrin and body structure, like you say, and the sumi as well. Like you're doing something wrong if it's just a straight out. You can't appreciate the qualities it's got. That thing is
Just
unreal.
I should be able to, just in case people haven't seen it.
Unreal.
Contrasts out a bit, but yeah, this thing. Obviously, its head's blushing a bit at the minute, but we'll get that sorted over winter. It's just that body form,
Yeah.
and sumi. It's just absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
And then obviously on
And
top of that, I've got the one I actually bought at Nisai. I mean, at the time that was Nissan just over 60 cm. Absolutely mad.
yeah. Yeah.
It was. And that thing, I don't know again where that's at, but the body line is just, it's near perfection. It's crazy. Near
Yeah.
perfection. Yeah, Rory, love it, mate. I'd love it. I have literally the year that I saw them as Tosai in the auctions, like I tend to buy the yellow monkeys in a batch. Didn't quite have the confidence because obviously I didn't know what was coming, but wish I had now.
Yeah, you can't win though, can you? Because the day you do take that gamble without knowing that they're all going to turn out to be dogs, aren't they? So you gotta take a small leap of faith before you jump in head over heels.
Exactly. So yeah, got an interesting day lined up today actually. So as well as the Sankey, again for those if you've seen it, Rie, who was working for us in Japan for the magazine, I'm meeting up with her, and we're going to Marido and Nogami to give him the magazines first of all, where we did the interview with him. So it's the first time them guys I got to see that. And yeah, sitting down and interviewing both of them for a really fun new project that we're starting, which is going to be, I think, probably a year, maybe 18 months in the making. But when that comes to fruition, I think it's going to be a mind-blowing bit of work.
Yeah. Even I don't know what this project is.
No, mate.
It's
Very
top secret. Top
under lock and
secret.
key, this one.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, cool.
Good. But yeah,
And
looking forward to that. You don't often get a
and
chance to sit down and just with translation at that level as well, and just
yeah,
pick the brains of these guys. It's I'm dead excited for that.
yeah, that'd be awesome. Let's move to the next question. Any big growing projects next year you got your eye on?
Yeah, that's it. That's as much information as you get.
Watch this space, basically. Them Shisuis, them Kawakami Shisuis,
Oh yeah, wow.
they are flying, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I can't wait to actually see them when I get back, because obviously I see them every day. So and I've been noticing it. I think 10 days away, coming back and seeing them will be mental.
And the Dainichi pond as well.
Just gone insane, Joe, on it.
I mean, some of them must be touching 50 now. They've got to be close.
Way bigger than that. There's I've got a shower in there that when I last checked was at 63.
On the 63.
Third one on the right.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
The big thing with that was the feeding. So
Right, okay.
Coming out of winter, I kind of let them. I didn't quite get them on the gas soon enough, and the water warmed up too much.
Right.
And didn't get the feeding up quick enough, so they got a bit thin, in my opinion. So I started them off on every 2 hours to really start to attempt to bulk them up. And to be fair, it was working, but I was constantly just having to adjust the feeding down because they weren't quite eating it in time, which is actually normal because those bigger fish, to be eating every 2 hours can be quite intense. So finally switched it around to my every 3 hour cycle, and it was at that point when all of a sudden it just completely changed the feeding behavior.
Yeah.
Digestive efficiency for sure, because just instantly, weirdly feeding just a little bit more food because again they've got more time digesting it better, and all of a sudden after about 2 or 3 weeks, just mass transformation in the volume they were carrying more than anything, and just gone since then. But yeah, that's all Nisai raising to Sansai, and I think that Zeus is obviously in there. That's over 60 now. Got to be.
I think I were on about like the Tosai this year. That first pond on the right in that.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry, I forgot.
Some of them must be up to 50. And they came in this year like this.
12 to 15 cm, yeah. Was it November, I think, last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they are. That's phenomenal. That's the first time I've seen growth like that in the flesh. It's just stupid. It shouldn't be possible.
Now they're just at that stage where the volume, probably over the past month, the volume's starting to hit, and it's often a case of timing that along with, when I often make those sort of final selections, really get the numbers down. That's when we start getting the real bulking. And actually, just before I left, I had another. I can't remember what I pulled out of there. About 15 more fish that weren't just quite cutting it, just to reduce it further. So now, yeah, I'll probably take them through to around end of October / mid to end of November, maybe even, just to really max them out. But yeah, anticipating they'll be between 50-55 when I'm done, which will be bang
Yeah.
on point. And the Sakai Sankey that are in there, them Dragon Balls, they weirdly, I mean, they were taken out of that pond at one point because they weren't keeping up, won't get the feeding behaviour. Put them in one of the 1,500 gallon ponds. They've all of a sudden they started flourishing. Put them back in the same pond they came from, and then at that point again they look like they just started falling behind. Then all of a sudden, I don't know what's happened. They've overtaken the Kohaku. They're just mental.
Yeah.
But loving them,
I do remember
bodies
when
are
you
really
took them
starting to
out,
come alive.
and then yeah, they're certainly keeping up now. I don't know why that is. It's just interesting, isn't it? How the feeding behaviour changes from Tosai. Now they're obviously capable of feeding more aggressively. It's strange, that, isn't it?
At some point they've obviously just got that confidence or the size then to compete, whatever's happened. But yeah, that's an exciting pond, that one.
I reckon we're going to end up with another 1,000 Tamasaba. I reckon that's going to be the new grow-on project this year, isn't it?
Boys here, so the guy at NND who bred that Okada-san, he first time I saw him yesterday, actually, I went, "You want to see what Tamasaba is?" He went, "Go on, is it a ball?" He says, "I said, a ball? Are you kidding, aren't you?" I said, "It's 28 cm." He couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Stop laughing.
You've proper fallen in love with them, haven't you? I can tell.
I've always enjoyed the fancy goldfish. Just full stop, all of them. Fascinated by them. I know they're not everyone's bag, but yeah. But the Tamasaba, let's say, it was nice to actually get some done. But when I think with fancy goldfish, it's always been the bigs fascinated me. That's really the one. And when you see things like that big one, it's insane. But when now them little ones are grown, I mean, they're up to 20 cm now, which doesn't sound a lot, but in the goldfish world, it's a hell of a size. And they only started off at 7 to 9 cm when they arrived.
Right. Wow. Yeah, and they're proper. They must be what, 22, 3, something like that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. So I'm just going to answer Mr. Koi's question. I'm heading down there my second to last day, buddy. One of the main purposes of being here, to be honest. So yes, we're going to get all that sorted, get those back, and let everyone know what's happening as soon as I've got all that ironed out. What's Richard asking me here? What have you bought so far? Yeah, you'll see. You'll see.
What about food, Ricky? What are you most? What's your go-to? Mine was 7-Eleven egg mayo sandwiches. Just can't beat them.
You're joking me.
Yeah, 7-Eleven egg mayonnaise sandwiches. Unreal. Unreal.
I don't
I mean,
quite
I
know
ate
where
more
to
than
go.
that, but that was my. They have a Pringles in Japan that's egg mayonnaise sandwich flavor because of the 7-Eleven egg mayonnaise sandwiches. It's unreal. Got to try it.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, the egg sandwiches are nice, but my God, my absolute favorite food is ramen. I'm obsessed with it, and when you get into it, it's almost like koi. There's so many different styles of it across Japan. Every guy who makes it generally makes his own, especially the guys who do make it and do it all. They do it so specifically.
It's very regional, isn't it, as well, in terms of like what ingredients they use from different cities
absolutely.
and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of cultural, isn't it? There's
just a great one. Different noodles, somewhere you fully customize the flavor how you want it, the thickness of the broth, the thickness of the noodles. Just absolutely bonkers. So yeah, I've always been banging to that. And but yeah, just so obviously katsu curry, just phenomenal. But the proper stuff they make out here, not that shit you get at Wagamama's. That's that is not the one, trust me.
Oh,
same as the ramen, twice the price as over here, and not even a fraction of the real thing.
Yeah.
And then there's tonkatsu, really a big fan of. So that's like the katsu meat, but just on its own with a special tonkatsu sauce that you get.
That's my brother in there. Yeah, definitely
So
does. Yeah.
yeah, also there's even a dish that's unique. It's the most probably one of the most unique dishes in the world. There's a small restaurant on the way to Kawaguchi that's got it's run by a Filipino family. Been here for as long as I've been coming to Japan. It's phenomenal, and they make a beef curry, which is they call it caldereta, and it's the most unique taste. It's always the one when I bring anybody. Like you've got to try this. It will not fail to blow your mind.
Mm,
Just such a mixture of creamy, real depth of flavor, a bit of warmth, a bit of heat coming through, a bit of sweetness. It's just bonkers with slow cooked beef.
mm,
And yeah, this recipe like proper under lock and key. The amount of people she's had over the years tried to buy it, get a copy, goes nowhere. But there is nowhere else you can get it. It's crazy, and that's a
yeah.
pretty special one to have.
That and the culture around food in Japan were one of the big surprises to me, and also the vending machine culture out there as well. Like people told me about it, but the vending machines are absolutely everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah,
I bet they're at
yeah.
breeders' houses as well. I bet you see them at. I bet
Oh yeah,
there's
yeah.
a Dainichi branded vending machine somewhere. There's got to be.
You'll be up in mountains where there's generally not even life, and there'll be a vending machine.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
It is crazy, but yeah, you're right. And look, food is life.
Yeah,
It's a big thing out here, and so bloody cheap as well.
yeah. It's
I got the
expensive
old
to get out there, but it's cheap to be there, isn't it?
the sort of rip off Britain vibe. I think was it the night before last, my first night. I just had a quick nip to there's like a chain restaurant, family one called Jolly Pasta. Great place, but it's no frills. But yeah, I went in. I had basically three courses, just all obviously Japanese style. It comes out whenever they're ready. You get no order. It all just comes, and the whole lot come to just over 14 quid
Wow. Yeah.
with unlimited drinks. I thought, I'm looking here. The salad that I ordered would have been 14 quid at home.
Oh dear.
Crazy,
We've
absolutely
proper
crazy.
gone on a tangent there, haven't we?
Yeah, it's good stuff. Big part of everything over here, though. It really is.
Yeah. It's more than just a works trip though, isn't it? Because it's just taking in alt culture and stuff like that. You could spend years in Japan. I don't think you'd ever get bored. There's so much to get out there.
Yeah, there's not long got up, mate. Not long got up. So yes, right. I think Tony's got us a question there, haven't they? How are the festival toasts out? They are coming on absolutely superbly, Tony. Really, really looking good now, mate. They are, and yeah, again, one of those ponds that they're in. I just sorted that out again before I come away. They've been growing well, but not quite getting the body volume that I was expecting. So yeah, it took quite a chunk of fish out of there, to be honest. And now that's completely. I'm guessing when I get back, I'll start seeing the results of that one. Yeah. When you've opened what you're most looking forward to in this visit. Yeah, to be honest, it was just a bit of time back with the guys at NND, just learning, chilling. I'm always one to be able to learn. I was actually discussing it yesterday with somebody, can't remember, and it's obviously there's not many. Oh, Evo, that's it. Evo gave me a ring. Actually, I saw a missed call off him. I rang him back. He's like, "What you doing? You're a month early." No, 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 no. So yeah, he. I just said, it's not often that chance. You just never know what these guys are up to. I'm always doing a lot, but they've always got the finger on the pulse, trying new stuff. And actually, straight away on the first day, walks in their fish house, and there's all these tubs laid up with something rotting in there. Big setup though, all air pumps running and heat and all kinds of stuff going on. And so it's always one of them. I don't know if they are going to open up on what it is or be all dead cautious and coy about it. It can go either way. But yeah, KB opened up, and it's actually a product that they're brewing that they've been using in mud ponds to improve the water quality in the mud pond. Because this year, because there's not been, it's been a really hot summer, and basically all the water resources dry up in the mountains, which is a major issue for mud ponds because they do rely on quite a bit of fresh water running through them to maintain the heavy feeding that they want to do. Without it, pollution levels just get a bit out of hand too quickly, which then leads to oxygen problems, and yeah, you start to go into a bit of a spiral. So this stuff is that potent. They've been using it in mud ponds and actually helping to improve the water quality in the mud ponds with it.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, I've actually got the recipe for it, and I cannot wait to give it a shot and see what we can do, or see what it does, to be fair.
Can I, Bagsy, being the person not making the rotten liquid?
Great stuff. So yeah, straight away, it's just these bits that you pick up that can come back, and yeah, obviously seeing that yesterday, the selection, again, just sitting and watching somebody else who's doing that, at that age, that level. That I think that's one of the big things that really helps refine your koi keeping skills. The younger you can learn to select fish, the more you actually learn in the long run. And that's just practice.
And I guess if you'd have gone out in October, it might have been too busy for you to sit and have conversations with some of these breeders, because
yeah, you don't get this. Everything's full on. There's customers everywhere. There's obviously fish coming in. There's sales going on.
Yeah,
it's not possible. There's only really certain times of the year you can get that done.
Yeah, that's a nice comment from me.
Yeah, appreciate it, but you can't ever stop. But this is the sort of the schoolyard for me out here, and yeah, it's good. We'll see what else we stumble across. Like I say, the stuff coming up today with them, with Nogami and Marido. I'm like a kid in a sweet shop for that one. That's going to be fascinating. Can't wait.
Yeah, and get lots of snaps for Koi Talk as well. I'm sure you will. Nice for them to see it in the magazine as well, and yeah, because the people enjoyed them articles.
Yeah, absolutely. Dale, Ricky, what's your experience with the Kawasaki Sumi development? The one I had from the auction is transforming, going from almost Kohaku to Sumi popping up all over. That is exactly Okawa Sankey, mate, to be fair. Body-wise, they're stunning. Growth-wise, they do really well. There's real size potential in that lineage. But yeah, Sumi-wise tends to be the one that kind of develops in the top of the skin. And then that's you just won't see it coming. Then all of a sudden, you can have a Kohaku that becomes an absolute banger from that point on. So yeah, love you to send us in some pictures, update Dale if you're doing it at any point, so we can share them with people. But that's exactly what I would expect from one. And again, I've got some stunning examples of them that have been coming on in a pond that will be out and about this autumn. But yeah, big fan of a Kawasaki. Really does a great job with them. Been down there, Joe, haven't you?
Yeah, been down there. I went down in November, and I think November time for them, I think a lot of it was pretty much sold. But I was shocked at, I think I said it on the last stream, like somebody coming in and asking for an All Japan Karashigoi, and they just wheeled out these two great big 80-centimeter Karashis, and and they were only 3-year-old and 80 centimeters, and they were just the most mango ones I've ever seen. And yeah, I think after I saw them, there's a few times I've been round at Koi Wholesale, and I can differentiate the Okawa ones from the Dainichi ones. There's a really, I don't know what it is about the Okawa ones, but there's a specific trait to them, and I think it must be like the Fukurin, or that it's almost like a Matsubamon. that they've got in it. It's really cool.
They're stunning, mate. It is pretty unique
Yeah.
what he's thrown up. And again, can't wait to share the very best one from last year that I've been raising
Mm.
through to Sanzai. Was a really, really special fish. I think it's going to blow a few people away. And I'm expecting that to be possibly up to mid 70s Sanzai by the time we're done.
Mm.
And that's just been
Wow.
in that little 3.5K pond competing
Yeah.
against me Tamasaba. Great. Always plenty of photos. Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the beauties of it all, isn't it? You know, appreciating when you get
Yeah.
coloration right and fish and everything going on. Superb.
Yeah. No, I agree. Oh, that's an interesting question. Best breeder for Ginrin Shiros. Who's considered cream of the crop? That's an interesting one, isn't it?
It is, because I'm just trying to think. There's nobody who actually generally produces Ginrin Shiro on their own, but so we tend to we'll instantly look to the guys who produce Ginrin Showa. Who'll have Ginrin Shiro as a byproduct, and that's generally where you will go. Obviously, and then at that point, I had a pretty special one from Dainichi last year that didn't quite make it. Ended up being male, but it was such a strong male. You know, it had that really, really horrible yellow trait running through it, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's obviously where you would, as far as Ginrin Show will go, phenomenal place. Then you'd probably move to like Hiroi, Shinoda. Them guys would probably be your top circle, because that's where a lot of the best Ginrin Showa are coming from. So naturally, I'd say they'll have them as a byproduct. But yeah, nobody who actually just produces Ginrin Shiro, to be fair.
No, that's an interesting one.
But yeah, do get them. Oh, sorry, that's absolute bullshit. Ed's not quite far. Omasako.
All right, okay. Do they just
Those
produce them with a?
Those, obviously, you know, take the best Shiro lineage in the world and chuck some shiny scales in.
Yeah.
So yeah, those boys, hands down, you know, because they've just managed to transfer everything, the size. It's coming to me now. My mind's woke up. Okawa as well. Both guys, Omasako, Okawa. That's where you're at for them. And now you've said it, I've got some absolutely insane Ginrin examples. I think 2, if I remember right, from last year's raising down in one of the ponds.
I remember when you pulled that pond, you said that you had one, and you said it, and I agreed with you. You said that's like Japan shore level
Well, Japan
standard
level,
Ginrin. Yeah, it's there was one that was particularly special. Have you kept that? Is it growing on?
Yeah, I've still got it. It's just getting better and better.
Oh, that's exciting. I haven't seen that
So
in a while.
Yeah, those 2 guys will be the one. There you go, and they are actually producing them from main stocks as well.
Wow.
Yeah, there we go. My head were asleep then. Shocking. Shocking. But yeah, great variety when you see, and they've got the size with them as well. You know, when I had them with a Kawa and they come mixed together, I really, really thought that would be a struggle to get them to grow and maintain at the same pace, because naturally when you add Ginrin to anything, it tends to slow it down. And no, sure enough, they just kept pace all the way. And Omasako, you know, they get through the sizes where they're not anything super jumbo, but I don't know if that's just because they're not getting the quality in them as they get through. Obviously, Ginrin and size is not an easy thing in any variety. You know, there's only really the likes of Momotaro who's managed to produce Ginrin Kohaku that are jumboed with lasting kind of Ginrin quality at the size. So to expect it from Shiro, no easy task.
Yeah.
No easy task.
Hey, what fishy? Have you got any? Have you got any Azakari that you're expecting on seeing this trip? Or I'm guessing it's not whether or not they'll be harvested yet.
No, so I'm not actually expected. I think Makoto told me the Sankey is not expecting back till about 10 o'clock. So I'm going to have a drive up into the mountains of Yamogihira anyway, because I know where a lot of the ponds are, and we've got the my own mud pond, which has got the NND event koi in that Matt at Prestige Koi bought the whole lot, the greedy git. So if you haven't seen that, guys, to be fair, have a look on over at Prestige Koi, because they were some cracking fish. It was jumbo toe size this year as opposed to the smaller ones. So yeah, going to head up there and see what we can see, which will be good. And then yeah, not far away from there is the NND Champion Mud Pond, which just a spectacle. That's where my Kindai Showa was raised last year. Amazing pond, just the whole setting of it is stunning. And hopefully there'll be a bit of visibility, because I have got a hell of a kohaku in there, the one I mentioned at the beginning of the show, that I'm hoping will be a major prize contender at the show in later years. So it'd be nice to try and catch a glimpse of that, maybe.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not a Shiro Muji, because that would put a dampener on the afternoon.
That bingo. That is for you.
No.
But but hopefully I'm not getting. Makoto was showing me pictures of all the bears that were captured up there this year. So yeah, fingers crossed none of them are on patrol.
Oh dear, yeah. Well, try not to get eaten as a bear. I don't know who'll pay my wages then. So
Yeah,
maybe ask
that's
your
it only
little
just hit me.
lad.
I thought I'll be venturing up there on my own, and yeah, what would I do if a bear come at me?
Brilliant. Oh, best breeder for Gin and Akamatsuba.
Right, so yeah, Gin Matsuba. I mean, right now, typically I always used to say Oyaji for Gin Matsuba. So, but he has now retired. However, I say he's retired. He actually sold the farm, and he's now just working Sakazumi. And Sakazumi actually purchased the fish houses from him and the parent fish. So, but I cannot remember seeing any offspring this year. So whether or not they've spawned them yet, I don't know. I hope they do, because they were such phenomenal Ginmatsuba, pure lineage. Not Kajaku, which is the next bit I'm going to mention. Not Kajaku or a byproduct of Kajaku, just a pure lineage of Ginmatsuba, and they were absolutely off the chain. So would be sad to see that one just disappear. And then, yeah, probably next you're looking at like an Omasako, because obviously given the level of their Kajaku, when you get a Ginmatsuba from it, it's like, holy shit. And but so they are as a byproduct. And then Akamatsuba, I always say this, Otsuka for me, purely because of my fascination with his Asagi line, the unique kind of trait that they have with the head shape and face shape. Akamatsuba for me is the one from him, because you get those characteristics all in there, and yeah, very impressed with him.
I've seen some good examples from Marasai of Akamatsuba, but I don't know how big of a line it is for them.
It does well. Everything Marasai, good history. For me, I just noticed with them, you don't quite get the same quality of the Matsubamon. Plus, I've tend to find that Marasai, Asagi, and Akamatsuba, because it'll all be the same spawning, tend to just not be great with the shimmies back in the UK. Right. That has driven me potty, and you do notice these things, and then it's characteristic of them, so tend to stay away from them a bit more.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But Otsuka's key well, and we've got some coming through in the autumn as well, in the pond where I'm growing that Kage Shiro for you, Joe.
Brilliant. I'm excited for that. I haven't even seen it yet. How did you train NND, and how can someone apply for a summer intern?
You could ask them, Alvin. To be honest with you, I'm not sure how far you would get. They do quite accept a lot of people, but it's often guys that they're kind of doing business with it at some level. But Yeah, initially I was actually invited. So obviously I met Fujo when I was 13, first time around, and he was completely taken back. And at some point on that trip, I think much to his dismay, he mentioned the idea that when I finished school, I should go out there and stay with them and work and learn. And sure enough, he actually didn't mention kind of finishing school. So straight away, I was like, "Can I come next year?" He went, "No, no, 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 no. You have to wait till you finish school." But I was never at that point letting him get away with that one. So that was it. Soon as I got done, get it a month, and I was gone.
Yeah, it's an
But yeah,
awesome way to learn, though, isn't it? And you've obviously brought a lot of the principles back with you as well.
that's exactly what it is. I think the big stuff around feeding, I remember well, it was that trip that enlightened me, and took a lot of the concepts and principles they were using on the mud ponds and adjusted it slightly for use in a concrete pond. And yeah, it's superb. But yeah, Alvin, to be honest, mate, the best thing you can do is ask. I would say that of anything, and see where you get. And then it's happened to other breeders, but what you have to be mindful of is sometimes, well, most of the time, there's no English speaking people on them farms, so it can be really difficult. I know a guy from the States who trained at Marido one time. I think he spent a full year there, maybe even 2 years. So obviously get him a bit of time to pick up the language. But yeah, amazing if you can get it done. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Well, we've done an hour there, or at least
That's
I
it, mate. Sorry, I lost track of that.
have. But no, I'm proper excited to see what you bring back with you. It's exciting times, isn't it?
It is, mate. Absolutely is. So we'll see where we get. Obviously, I'm due a visit to the old boy Tucano. I'm not quite sure when that'll slip in. I might nip there before I bomb up into the mountains today. It's always a giggle.
Yeah, that's always fun for you. I've never been. I'd love to go to Kano, and yeah, go to Otsuka, see what Kage Shiro has got. I've heard there's some good ones up there.
Nice. Well, yeah, sorry for being late, folks. But Joe was old. I did actually say in preparation, didn't I? I said, Joe, I need you on there, mate, in case something goes wrong.
Fun times.
Happy
And yeah,
days.
keep an eye on the Nishikigoi Journal. That seems to be where you're posting your stuff while you're out there. So
Yeah, like I say, just an idea, not even just for Japan, just everything kind of just on a personal level of me just enjoying Koi and sharing it. So head on over there, hit a follow or something like that so you get some updates when it's done, and happy days.
there you go. All right.
Nice. Thanks, folks.
Perfect. Have a good evening. Bye bye.